Yo, what's going on, guys? You're tuning into Situational Damage, a topical discussion about the FGC.
The topple.
A topical. Good start. First one as well. Sick. I'm your host, MashOnPads C4IQ, penetrating your eardrums. And on this Situational Damage podcast, I've got 3 guests, and we're basically going to talk about the FGC and locations. Obviously, around the world, it's going to be different. That's the given. So, on today's show, we got Lucky. Want to introduce yourself?
Woo! Yo, it's MOP LuckBoxQ here, the hip hop gaming MC. What's good? How you doing? I got that dozen that Relento. Add me up. PSN XBL any dime, any day. Let's go.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. Right, back to professional stuff. Drift.
Yeah, what's happening, guys? Drift here. You can catch me on Twitter, Zero Drift. That's the number 0. Yeah, hi. How's it going?
Cool. And last but not least, Justice.
Yeah, hey, it's Justice Soul Tuna. I'm an average player and an above average combo video maker. You can follow me at Justice Soul Tuna.
Sweet. Yep. Check out everyone else's Twitter, YouTube's. I'll have to kind of plug Good Luck because he's part of my team. So yeah, check his stuff out as well if you have to. But yeah, like I said, this podcast is basically going to be about FGC and the locations across the world. We've got Justice kind of representing, I guess, the US, because obviously he's played there. We've got Lucky, Q-Ball, Luckbox, whatever you want to call him, Relento role. He's representing the Philippines. And we've got Drift representing his 1 day in Asia. Which is more than any of us had, I'm guessing. So I'll start with, let's start with Drift. Tell us about your kind of experience and the difference that you felt between sort of like the arcade in Japan over here.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with disclaimers first, because I started Street Fighter with vanilla Street Fighter 4. Got that by my now ex-girlfriend. So I'm pretty new to the scene. Not even joking. I'm pretty new. It's since vanilla. Lucky, shut it. I hear you giggling.
It's too funny.
It's true, though. It's true. I started at vanilla 4. So I'm pretty new to the scene. And I'm Chinese, by the way, so I'm from Hong Kong. My parents are from Hong Kong, so I go to Hong Kong. I haven't hit the arcades there yet because like I said, I'm pretty new to the scene. But I went to Japan for a holiday because I'm finally making money back at uni. So yeah, we spent the day in Akihabara, and the girlfriend was just off doing her thing. I was like, all right, I'll see you later. There's some arcades. I'm going to check them out. I've been trying to find Street Fighter for the last week. You've dragged me around Disneyland. You've dragged me around shopping. I want to do my thing now. And so I found this arcade. If you Google it, it's called Hey. I can't remember the actual full name of it, but it's in Akihabara. It's on the main street. You will find it. Hey Arcade is called. It's opposite Taito Arcade. And yeah, so I went there about noonish, straight after breakfast, hit the trains, get over there, walk over, and like, oh, okay, cool. And it's what you see on streams for Japanese tournaments are those arcade cabinets, and Japanese players put their wallet or a card down on the cabinet.
Yeah. And
I got myself one of those cards. They're only 300 yen. At that rate, that was £2.10. So 100 yen was 70p. It's not great. Well, it's not bad, but it's not the best it was, because like obviously before like the financial crash and whatnot, things were awesome. But yeah, we missed that. But yeah, £2.10 for a card that you can then register, get your name on it, get your characters, get your points. Because we're all point monsters here. We're all about that ranked game on Street Fighter. Let's be honest.
I mean, not anymore. I used to be.
We've all been there. We've all started off.
We've all been there. Yeah, exactly.
PP is everything. PP is more than pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
PP is more than pounds. It holds
exactly.
Holds
so you get that card. You play a few games and you can register online, and apparently it's not that hard. I didn't register mine because I stuck it because I've lost it. Basically, I don't know where I've stuck it. But next time I'm going back, I'm getting another one, and I'm keeping it in my wallet forever.
Sick.
Yeah. Rocked up about midday. Played a few games. Just playing arcade mode because being midday on a weekday, it's pretty dead. People are at work. Kids are at school. You get the odd like college student, I guess would be the right term, that skip in school or don't have lessons and are just sitting in the arcade playing games, either pachinko, other arcade
Yes.
games, Street Fighter, you know. It was what you see in every anime if you ever see an arcade
Yep.
shop.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So play a few games, arcade mode, just run through it, and the run through is 100 yen a game, 100 for the whole run, as long as you don't lose.
Okay.
So yeah, 70p for a whole of arcade mode, 10 stages. You're all right. You can't really go wrong there, can you?
It seems pretty cheap. You know, with the card, does that allow you basically to go to an arcade and have your sort of how we would have online? So you have your gamer tag, your points, like your title, or do you get gains from having that card, or do you still have to put your card in and pay?
You pay for the game,
Right?
but the card is basically your ranks match, your score, your gamer tag. It's your gamer tag, your BP, your BP, your character selects stuff. You can also the thing with Japanese arcades, which I found out when I did this, is that you don't get the costumes out of the box on the arcade game itself. You have to purchase specific costumes for your character from the website.
Oh, doesn't sound bad actually.
That sounds okay, actually. Yeah, I like that. I like that concept.
So the arcade cabinet actually has all the costumes built into it. You don't have to download stupid costume
that
packs.
Sounds really good to me, because the thing I hate about Street Fighter in particular is how the costume packs are scattered in the dumbest way possible. So you have to buy all of them.
That's horrible. I hate them.
Yeah, it's. I hate Vega, but I like Bison, so I have to get like the Shadow Loop pack. I don't play Sagat and Balrog anymore, so it's like.
But yeah, you got to buy the pack, and you get all these characters, which you might not want. You only want to spend like a couple of quid for your one character, which is awesome. And the cabinet being already online and downloading all the costume packs, it will show every costume pack. You don't need them.
That's pretty cool. I like that concept.
But yeah, rock on. I'm playing, do a couple of story games, and then office kids, or I say office kids, but yeah, office junkies come out on their lunch, finish their jobs or finish school, and they start rocking up in this arcade. You see it filling up. Okay, get some games on. And what I found out, or what my mate told me before I went, like, don't do training mode. Like, don't practice your combos, because people will spot you, and then try and find a cabinet against you, just to play against your character.
Wow.
Legit, they will watch you.
Oh my god! Like that's meta game, really.
That's
crazy.
proper meta game. That's not even like high level Japanese players, like the professional, well known.
That's their fundamentals.
Yeah. They'll spot you. They'll peep at you. Like, let you play a few story games. And then they'll go find a cabinet, get some change, go to a cabinet, and hopefully they'll hit you.
Right, okay.
And then they'll wreck you.
So when you're in training mode, what does that cost you? Do you have to pay like 70p to do arcade mode or training mode? Or
No, you don't get training mode. It's literally the arcade game.
Oh, it's only the arcade game, right.
Yeah, so like, you know, being like stage 1 on arcade mode, that's pretty easy. You can just practice combos, whatever, just jab them all out and get double perfect.
Right, okay.
But you know, the more you go on, the more you get bored, the more you're going to just start practicing combos and start making it look flashy. But yeah, a couple of school kids peeked at me. Like, okay. I didn't even realise, because I was just too busy just mashing jab, as I do. I'm not going to deny I mash jab. It's a good way to get out.
Hey, it worked, man.
Beats
exactly.
everything but DP, so I do it.
Yeah. And so I got a few games on, and what was it? The first one, Blanca. You know that horrible Blanca costume?
The Mardi Gras one, like the proper festival one.
There we go.
That should be banned.
That should be banned.
That should be banned, especially from online. Everywhere that should be banned.
That was the first game in Japan, and I just got wrecked.
Welcome to Japan.
What's banned in certain tourney?
Welcome. What? That's not banned in Tawny. All Blanca players use it.
Yeah,
it's
like just so big. It throws you off proper.
It's like the pro players that pick Volcanic Rim, the proper scumbags, but they do it for the tactical advantage. Like no one likes that stage.
Map, though. I'll be honest.
See, I can't. Like me personally, I'll literally only pick training mode, regardless of the situation. I always pick training. I like grids. I like to see where my normals reach. But people like apparently stream monsters hate that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I know. The thing about me is I don't mind training mode, but I come from like 3D games and anime games and stuff, so I just like the flashy stuff. So I'll just pick like whatever stage. I don't really mind. Because I don't know. Like I know this sounds weird, right? Whereas some people like to focus more on just the very basic things because they want to get everything done. For me, like the whole presentation gets me more into it. Like if I have like the volume turned up, some exciting stage, some exciting music, like I get more into it and I can be more excited about it. So even if I lose, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's why I do it personally. I know that doesn't work for anyone else, but like that's just how I do it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Nick's pretty the same. But yeah, Drift. So
Yeah.
you got did you get beat by this Blanca or?
Oh, good. Well, I won a round, and he just wrecked me. Blanca shenanigans always get me. It's something about Blanca, especially in that costume as well, because he makes it. He's double the size. You don't know what you're hitting. It is horrible. I hate it. But he wrecked me, and then I got a first. Well, not even the first of 5. I don't speak Japanese. I'm Chinese, so I don't speak Japanese, and I've never actually met one of these guys while I was playing the game. But I got faced. Oh well, I faced against a Sagat, and it ended up being a first of 5 somehow, because we just kept on playing against each other.
Right.
And that went 4-5, 5-4. Sorry, to me.
Nice.
So but they were close matches. Like they have fundamentals down beyond belief. I'll start throwing fireballs. They just jump. They don't throw fireballs unless they want to, and stuff like Rago DPs everywhere. Legit.
I mean,
Yeah, that Kazanoku.
yeah, that's hard though.
That sounds-
I couldn't do that. I could not do that.
one thing I wanted to know, like personally, with when you played there, did any of them like come up to you after and say like GGs or was it a case of they beat you or you beat them and they walked off?
Well, no, there were no GGs. There were no handshakes, no nothing. It was just a normal arcade scene. It wasn't like a proper tournament where people would know each other or see.
Right.
Like I'm facing against you. I see you on that arcade cabinet. I'm going to sit opposite you, and we're going to play.
That's
Like, it was all friendly banter. Well, I say friendly banter in Street Fighter because, like I said, I don't speak Japanese. I couldn't really communicate to them apart from smile and nod and say hi and wave. But after a game, I had to look around, and the guy opposite just peeked and saw me. Like, oh, had a little wave, and goes and nodded and said good game or 2 thumbs up as well.
Ah, okay, cool.
So they can be quite friendly, as long as you look Asian. Like, no, I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah, no, this is what I asked you because I've heard stories about like they're proper like there's a click. Like if you're not a regular to the arcade, they'll play you, beat you, or they'll play you, learn something from it, and not like interact with you again. They'll just learn to beat what you've beat them with. Yeah.
So, like they obviously learn stuff. They or we traded tech and whatnot, like through the game, not through community, through actual talking. But if you're not Asian and you go to Japan, they are still quite close-minded, and that's just throughout my holiday. That wasn't just at the arcade. That's just Japan in general, in my opinion.
That's just Japan, yeah, we know.
Yeah. So that happened, and like my girlfriend, who is white, she's English.
Okay.
She rocked up eventually, and they saw. I was like, oh, okay. Gave me again 2 thumbs up, and then we walked away. But the arcade scene there, playing for my one day in Japan, in Akihabara, like there, even the lowest. I said the lowest. I didn't play against 5-year-olds, but even like the 20-year-olds and above. They have such a solid understanding of Street Fighter if they play it,
right?
Even at a basic level, like as a casual gamer of Street Fighter, they still have the tech and knowledge and composure to play very decently.
I guess if you played enough, though.
Oh yeah. No, that's with any game. You get matchup, you get experience, and you can play solidly. But like as a casual gamer, you pick up Call of Duty. And that's just shooting buttons. That's perfectly fine. But as a game like Street Fighter, like some people compare it to chess, and I can see why they compare it to chess. But if you play it casually, you're going to forget stuff. And like some of these guys didn't drop a beat. Like I jump in, like they might not DP, but they will anti-air somehow.
Right.
They will throw a button to anti-air.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, let's move on to Justice. Obviously, I'm guessing you played quite a bit over in America.
Not like much, but not like competitively or anything. I had been to arcades quite a few times.
Right, was it mainly for fighting games, or was you kind of like?
Oh, just for everything, but fighting games as well.
Yeah, cool. Is there any like sort of one particular moment or one particular event that you went to that stands out, or?
I mean, I'll just talk in general, just about my experience.
Yeah.
Well, in the first place, I had sort of 3 separate experiences. The first was the first time I ever played Soul Calibur 2, way back in the day when it was on arcade.
Right.
See, it was pretty cool because when I went to the arcade, obviously I just saw it. I gave it a go, and I remember that I think here was the cool thing to me personally. normally you go to these sort of places, and for most games you're just playing it and no one really cares, whatever, right? But I was playing arcade mode. Arcade mode, right? In Soul Calibur 2, I don't remember who I was using or what I was doing, but I was playing arcade mode, and I was fighting Inferno, the last boss, and what's his name? Like, some guy kind of like was next to me and he's watching, and he's all like, "Oh, have you thrown him?" I'm like, "What?" And it's like, "Oh, you know you can throw him." I'm like, "Oh," and at the time I didn't know you could throw in fighting games. So it's all like, "No, if you throw him, right, then you can get more options from that." I was like, "Oh, cool, I didn't think about that." And throwing him really helped. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I abused it, but like it was cool to use it like that way, right? And similarly, there's another experience when I was in a different arcade entirely. I was playing I was hanging out with my friend, and he was playing Marvel 2, and it was funny because it was like he was playing Marvel 2, and normally like I've seen Marvel 2 before, I played it before, and he's playing, and then he did a super, and then he did a team super, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? You can do that? Like I never knew about supers. And when I saw him doing it, I was just like, what? Like, it was just crazy to me, because at the time, I didn't know what the input was. I wasn't sure how he was doing it. I wasn't sure, like, that kind of thing. So that really blew my mind. So that's what got me interested. And I think that's what was so cool as well, because it's like, there was that whole element of discovery. Because you're in an arcade, you have all these people around you, right? You get to see and learn things that you probably didn't know, and people are actually very helpful because they're all playing the game, which is quite cool. I mean, I'd say I had way more experience sort of, like, playing with friends and like people and stuff, because I like my cousins, they own like the Smash Bros game, so I played Smash Bros with them.
Yeah.
And the thing about Smash Bros is like I learned the hard way with like every other fighting game is you think you're good at it until you meet someone else, and then they show you you're not, because because the funny thing is like the freaking kids from down the street would come to the house and be like, "Oh, we heard you're good at Smash Bros. Well, I'm better, right?" And they're not better. They get beaten.
You can only be as good as your opponent. So
yeah, exactly.
If
so
you're
like,
beating people that are scrubs, you're gonna think you're good, but then until you play someone who can challenge that, like,
I'm gonna put someone on blast on that one. Karmaceutical.
Karmaceutical. Who's that?
He's a guy on Xbox Live, like the UK scene, and he will just give you salt whenever you beat him. He uses Seth, and like we have there's a chat with a bunch of people, and he just salt everywhere, legit.
Is he like casual good or like just?
No, he's just rubbish. That's the thing. He thinks he's awesome.
Is he one of those guys?
He thinks he's awesome because he
but can't take it. Basically.
Yeah, he can't take it. He thinks he's awesome, and when he gets beat, that's it. He just goes off on one.
No, I mean, actually, you know what? I'm gonna expand on that. You know, one thing I've noticed, and this isn't just fighting games, but like I swear, like it takes a certain level of arrogance or childishness to be good. It's weird. It's like when you're good, you think you're amazing, so when you start getting beaten, you just quit or you just act super salty. Because I've noticed people do that all the time. Like, I mean, obviously, fighting games are one, but like to use a slightly similar-ish example, it happens a lot in shooters, for example. Like, they're the guys who, early game, they're just destroying people, just dominating people, getting all the kills. You can't stop them. The second your team starts to turn it around, kill them a few times, they quit. It's like, really? You don't... Like,
I've seen that as well.
I don't like them kind of people who don't even try. Like, they only want to have it their way, and if it doesn't go their way. But anyway, like, that's obviously a bit of an aside. But yeah, so, I mean, the majority of my experience in America was mainly, like, just going to arcades, playing casually with friends, and also playing at home, like, stuff like Smash Bros. Back in the day. Like, obviously it wasn't a competitive game in any way, but, like, the Budokai games, that was pretty fun. Like, that was good times.
Budokai
Budokai 2, Budokai 3. Like that was really fun, and obviously Smash Bros as well. And that's what got me, well, at least interested in playing the games. Although the only difference is, especially because I was younger, right? The only difference is I still kind of lived by that kind of unwritten samurai code, like, oh, don't use a cheap character, don't spam moves, etc. And I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably would have won more.
That's why samurais got killed off and ninjas took over. True. That's exactly what happened.
Well, actually, no, tell a lie. I believe that up until I used freaking Lee Chaolon in Tekken 5 and figured out that acid rain move, the multiple kick attack.
Yeah.
Basically, like I was kind of cheeky, right? Every single time someone's like, "Oh, yeah, Patrick, let's play Tekken 5." I'm like, "Oh, you don't want to play me Tekken 5." And they're like, and I was like, "Okay, fine." We turn it on. Beginning of the round. Doesn't matter who I'm playing, guaranteed they'll walk forward. And then I will just do forward and mash 3 over and over, and boom, there goes a quarter of their health. It's like, it was so perfect because it's like they're gonna fall for it every time. So I mean, that was really cool. But even then, I still kind of had this, and I mean, it was kind of one of those things, right? Like everyone is like, oh, don't be cheap and don't do this, don't do that, don't grab, etc. I mean, which is, how it is. People have their little rules.
I think that's kind of universal, like around the globe. Like it's the kind of like the unwritten rule. Like,
yeah, but I don't know where did it come from. Why do people even?
I think it's because
people are lazy to learn to get over it.
That's how I think it is. But I think back then, when someone did something that you couldn't understand, like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in ST, you can't tech.
You can't tech. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So when people did like baller grabs in the corner, it was like literally you could not do nothing about it. So it was kind of class and cheap.
Unless you mash, like turbo mash, then you can kind of like decrease the
the amount of times they hit you, yeah.
Right. See,
yeah, but that was in the late stages of ST.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's just grown from like that. I don't think it was universal in every other game, but I think everyone's just got a gripe with getting hit by the same thing over and over again. And the problem is the player getting hit by it doesn't know how to adapt, so they'll moan at the person doing it.
No, actually, you know what? I've said this before. Especially fireballs. Like people have this massive issue with fireballs that I don't quite understand. Because the thing is, even when I was like back in the day playing like like Dragon Ball Z Budokai or whatever, like fireballs were annoying, but I never felt like I couldn't deal with them. I just felt like they weren't flashy. But then again, I knew what the point of them was. So when I started playing fighting games seriously, right, and I started using fireball characters, I grew to appreciate it. But the thing that blew my mind is like people get so angry, and I don't know why. They get so mad. It's like it's not that bad, especially if it's like, fair enough, it's Street Fighter, it's because it's Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. But when you're getting mad about fireballs and in like an anime game, it's like, really, you have
you got
10 ways of getting around it. Like, don't complain at me because you can't do anything.
That's just learn the game. Don't complain. Learn the game.
All it comes down to is like, if you play a fireball character like Sega or whatever, just say, while I'm throwing this fireball, I'm not blocking. So that's your chance. Simple as. They can't argue with that.
Yeah.
You're opening yourself up, so you can't block while you do that. Same with like Street Fighter and jumping. Like I like anime games, so I like blocking in the air. But when I play Street Fighter and I see people jumping all the time, it's like, you can't block when you're doing that. Like, I know I'm biased and I ain't really got an anti air, but still, you shouldn't really be doing that so much. But yeah, I think that's a universal thing. But moving on to Luck, save the best for last. We did the Origins, obviously, during that, and you did your kind of whole life story, which we did ask for, to be fair. We did ask for it. So you explained all your like experiences when you lived over there and then you went back over there. So if you want to give us like the short version of that would be sweet, mate.
Yeah, it all goes back to me learning piano lessons, and her grandson was into computer games. And growing up in UK, I was into Mario first. Then when I got my SNES, my first game was Street Fighter 2 World Warrior. So he was into fighting games as well, and he actually brought me to this little place where people could rent PlayStation time. So you had the PlayStation 1 time and the Super Nintendo time. So what I mean is, like, you can pay for half an hour's worth of playing any game you want on the console. And then from there it was like a little community of people who played on the weekend, and on the weekdays those same people actually went to the arcades. Cool. In my area, which was pretty ghetto, because like the cabinets we were using were like, well, they still are in some areas of the Philippines. They were like wooden cabinets with,
wooden cabinets,
modified buttons and stuff, and
the MDF.
No, like it was like they just put the parts, like the joystick parts and certain hinges and screws, so that would just work. You know what I mean? Like pretty much a bit like the Hog, how they make custom built cabinets and stuff. Right. It was all for the stuff like that. And the to play a game was pretty cheap in those days. It was like 100 pesos to £1, which was equivalent to 30 games. So
damn,
with that UK money coming from the parents, and that £20 a month went a long way.
Mate, so you never have to leave the arcade.
And it was that thing, but I was just not good at fighting games. I was so piss poor. But what kids noticed was they'd always hang around with me, and I would let them play to not only to help me learn, but they'll get a free game in. Do you know what I mean? Because like, as it is back home, it's hard to get really good money, and that's quite a lot for them. Because 100 pesos back in the day was probably average daily wage, I reckon, for some people. So in comparison to what I could afford to what they could afford, obviously they weren't going to play more games than I was going to play.
What?
So yeah, I used to get training from people from different schools and learn how to play. And as for the vibes there, it's more like it was more a gambling thing. So there was a lot of money matches and stuff, and that's how people in that specific arcade good at the game, because everyone was hungry, wanted that extra cheese. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we had the normal World Warrior, we had Street Fighter Turbo, and then we had Rainbow Edition.
Wow.
Silly, but people were playing sick, like they were switching characters in between and stuff. And some people would cheat, they'll just do like the unlimited Ken axe kick into a fireball into Tatsu combo, which puts someone back into stun. So it was pretty dirty, but people did it, and people would play money for that game.
The thing is, I have to kind of respect anyone that found tech outside of a game that didn't have training mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Because that literally cost them money to find that tech. That tech is worth something.
Like for me, it was like I'd wait for that one guy from another school who knew all the combos and all the stuff, and go, yeah, play with me, man. Don't buy any credits. Just like, don't buy any tokens. Just take one of my rounds and just show me stuff.
Oh.
So he'd usually just wait with me and just show me shit.
So technically, they indirectly pay you to show them stuff, to train them.
No, I indirectly paid them to show me stuff.
Oh right, yeah, sorry, yeah, it's all around. Okay.
So I wasn't really that great. I wasn't that good at the game. So because I was more playing Killer Instinct on the SNES, I was into that and Mortal Kombat at the time. Because I didn't get Super Street Fighter when I moved back. I was still on World Warrior 2, and everyone was playing like Super Turbo. Well, I mean Street Fighter Turbo. And then as obviously times change, you get the X-Men versus Street Fighter and the Marvel versus Capcom games and the Street Fighter Alpha and Third Strike, which was all my second year of high school to fourth year of high school. That was that generation of arcades, and it went up to like 5 pesos at that time, which was still pretty cheap. And since then, it's still 5 pesos in my area. The arcade in my area back home is really decreasing, like variation to fighting games. All they had left was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, with joysticks you have to pull up in order to move.
What?
Wait.
Pull up, not direction up, like pull up so you can move. Like if you just normally move them, the character would not move or block. You'd have to.
Oh, so you got dodgy connections, alright.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really good. Like the people wouldn't fix it. It was just there was no cost.
That's a big ghetto, man.
And they were,
that's
but
very ghetto.
their focus, which weirdly enough, was the new Tekken game, which was brand new cabinet. It was proper, it was cushy, and like everyone's into Tekken, and I was just like didn't know what to do, so because no one was really playing, so I played a bit of Tekken, and I just bust them up because they just didn't have any fundamentals. So yeah, like there was like you get.
You use Kerrang and just hit.
Yeah, I meant Eddie in this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show you and Jim, man. They've all been like my characters on the PS2, so I was using them. And I was just doing cheeky stuff like jab and then make them block and then just grab, let them block and grab them again, and I was just getting pissed off. And then I think one of them texted their actual friend, go, "Yeah, we got someone coming for you," and just come bust me up with Paul.
Someone coming for you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was so funny, but it wasn't like the olden days. Like it was for money. Like people just their side betting and stuff. It was proper gambling, fucking country, man. I swear to you, man. Like it's just silly, man. I think that's why people got good, like competitively, like back home, like especially in like all different games. That's why people like level up quick, because they're playing for money. It's on the line. They can't lose.
That's any game, not just fighting.
Yeah. Definitely. And then recently on holiday, when I went out there with my missus to her area, it's a city, so my area is like it's just like a provincial area, just a town sort of thing, and her area is a city. So I went to actual mall, and some of them is the same setup like Drift was saying, with like credit cards with which you buy credit for.
Yeah.
And then like for instance, like one game of Ultra would have cost like 4 credits, something like that, or what's it called? Same with Tekken. All the newer games would cost more credits than the older games. So that's Manila, that's Cagayan de Oro. Another mall in the Mrs. area, Cagayan de Oro, there was the old credit system where each token was 6 pesos, and this was pretty cool because it was practically like the old. It was like all the cabinets in Hog. Like you got your Third Strike, your Alpha.
Yeah.
It was all there. So I was playing all that. I was playing some people, and everyone was just wrapped around the Ultra cabinet, which, funnily enough, was like, I think it was some weird PC version or cracked copy or something. Like something like that. And it was in a wooden cabinet again, so it was budget. They even had SFXD on arcade, bro. So it was that's
when that's rock bottom. When you've got that, when you've got a cabinet of Cross Tekken, I love Cross Tekken, but when you make a cabinet of that, you're running low on ideas.
Yeah, I mean, like, people loved it. Like they were like, you know, people would just bash a certain button and it'd like do a combo. You know what I mean? You show someone light punch medium fierce, like, oh my god, I'm good at this game. Do you know what I mean? Like people was playing it.
I think that's fine.
So I showed them some of my relentless stuff on SFXD, and I played some Ultra with my 37, and no one was like, they was like, why the hell do you play that character? Like, no one uses that character ever. I'm like, no one uses it here. like I had picked him up, you know? Like, you can pick him up. And it was the same. It was like, it's a friendly vibe. Everyone gets together. They're sharing things. Like, you can do this, you can do that. Even to the deepness of, like, you can FADC or do certain things like counterattacks. They knew that sort of, like, game and fundamentals. And it surprised me because I thought, you know, people who like, you know, had a hard time making money were actually learning the game, like, after work and stuff. Some guy was at a petrol station. He goes, I gotta go to work, you know. So he started his late night shift. He was just playing a couple games. So it pretty much surprised me because that guy's wage is, I think, like 2-3 tokens is enough for his stage. You know what I mean? That would cost a lot of money already for him. So yeah, man. And it's just that's like his bus for home, innit? So 3-4 game. But yeah, it was just every island, I guess, is different because as you know, like Philippines is split into loads of islands, and everyone has a different scene. But as for like the actual community, I think they're more like the more middle class people, the more richer sort of like society. Like those are the guys who are like on the XBL, on the PS3s. Because
you mean the working
those
men?
Things people only.
Yeah, how does that work?
Like, yeah, no, not even work, just rich because
like office jobs, not just
not even like really high paid jobs, you know, like because I think average is like 10k a month in pesos, which isn't really that much. That's like 150. So like with a really good paid job, like certain people do and can afford like Xboxes and PS3s, and that sort of environment is hard to come by if you ain't got money. Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't dream of what the fuck, that's a waste of money, but to them it's just like it's their hobby. So the actual community I didn't really actually meet, but there's some clips on YouTube where they've entertained Filipino champ when he went out there and stuff. So there is quite a scene there as well.
That's good. What I was gonna say is I've basically got 3 scenarios to pitch all 3 of you.
All right.
And then obviously it's just your opinion, but what do you think would happen in your respective countries that you visited to play in? Basically, what do you think the kind of consensus would be, or like the group reaction? So I'll go back round again. So I'll start with Drift.
Sure.
You're in your Japanese arcade.
Yep.
Say for example, you're playing someone, right? It's a first of 5. They win. They're up 3-0. You come back 4-3. Then they start crying. So you get the whole. Who's done that? Loads of people have done that. Well, Dogra did it.
Yeah.
For Blaz, but Chris G, when he did it against Dominion.
Oh yeah. Oh, so actual crying, not just.
Yeah, no, actual tears are coming out.
Okay.
Like full on crying, like not like bawling, but you can hear the sob. You can hear the sob. That bad.
You're trying to tell me if I didn't let him off, I felt bad for him, or did he just get put off by it?
I don't know what happened to him. That wouldn't mind.
Let him off. I think it just put him off. Like it made him. It shook him up. Like confused him.
But
I think I think he lost his focus.
What do you think? The arcade or the people in the arcade, how do you reckon they would react, or how would you react if you was playing someone and they started crying because you was about to beat them in a set?
can piss myself. sorry.
So that's Lucky's answer right there.
Yeah.
Just piss himself.
Sorry.
Just start pointing at the guy, going
Scumbag.
Nah. In the Japanese arcade, I would probably say, and personally myself, it's like you see a crazy person on the street. Like you will avoid them. Like you will be embarrassed for them. I beat them. I'll shake their hand. They're still sobbing, holding back their tears, holding their L, and I'll just shake their hand, say thank you for the game, and I'll walk away. I'll feel embarrassed for him.
Thank you for
But
your
I'm not
tears.
going to put a man down just because he wants to cry over a game. He is that passionate about it. I'm not going to kick his teeth in for that.
But you're saying you wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But do you feel that? Do you feel like you're a loser? Like hold that, or do you actually just feel like neutral? Like if he wasn't crying, you would have felt the same way.
I felt the same way. I'm like, all right, you're crying. I don't care. I won though. Good games. Like just because your emotions got the better of you, and this is just a game. You need to control that, and you will become a better player. In my opinion, that's what I'm thinking. But if I see a man crying and when I'm kicking his ass, I'll just be embarrassed for him.
Do you think the whole arcade would be kind of the same thing? Do you think someone would like comfort him or do a nick and just point and laugh? Or
No one will point their laugh
my
in the
God.
Japanese arcade, I reckon.
Yeah.
But you see those movies, well, any movie, you see anyone just like muttering under their breath, talking to their mates, like behind their hand, just back talking about someone else. That's what they're going to be doing. Like, have you seen that guy? Do you see why he's crying? Do you see what's happening? Like they'll gossip.
right? Okay, that's
That's like
fair.
normal reaction.
Yeah. Justice in America. I think because America's such a big place, it's kind of diverse, and it will all depend on who is actually crying. I guess.
I want to ask where in America as well, because as you said, America's pretty big.
Yeah. Where did you mainly play, Justice?
Oh, like what's his name? New York, Philadelphia.
Okay.
So East Coast.
Philly's pretty raw. Like,
They are.
yeah. If anyone cried, I think they would get kicked out.
No, it's like they'd be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you, nigga? Like, why you crying, nigga?" Like that would pretty much be the situation. Like people asking questions like, "Oh, don't cry, nigga. Oh, you're fine." Like that's, but not like in a malicious way. In a kind of like,
Yeah.
this grown man is crying in the middle of an arcade and everyone's there, but everyone like feels bad for him.
Yeah, everyone's
it's
going to feel
like-
that embarrassment.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll try and, like, find out what's wrong. And if it was me, it would be the kind of thing where it's like, the thing is, I'm hella sympathetic when it comes to frustrations with fighting games. So I'd be like, trust me, I know it sucks. I know exactly how you feel.
We've
And
all
if I
been
know
there.
the game, I'd say the game is stupid anyway, so don't worry.
So you'd make it worse.
No, not like in the sense of worse, like, you know, like, should continue to feel bad, but, like, I'm always sympathetic. I kind of just nod my head like, trust me, I know it's tough.
Trust me, I know it's bad. I wouldn't cry. You're crying, but I know how you feel. That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Like,
I
that's
know how you feel. Here's my mixtape.
But in front of everybody, like, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but Americans are very boisterous. They'd be very obnoxious. If you started crying, they'll start asking you questions. They'll just get up in your face,
Yeah.
be like, "What's wrong with you?" etc. You know, so I don't know. Like, it would be a scene.
I think it'd be like that over here as well.
Yeah.
For the most part, I reckon there's going to be one or two people. There's always going to be a Nick in the venue who would do that. Basically, you're not going to have an event in the UK who doesn't contain
Oh
a
my
Nick. So,
What's the nick?
what's a Nick? That's a you. That's why I'm even going to ask you the question, because I know you would point and laugh at them.
Alright. I wouldn't point and laugh. I'll just.
You
I'll
just said
go,
you put a laugh.
I'll go outside and laugh.
Not even to a guy's face.
I'll go out. I'll go have a smoke. I'm like, yo, I gotta go have a smoke, and then as soon as I step out the door, I'm like,
Right, okay, what do you think would happen in the Philippines? Say you beat, not like a kid, like someone your age or someone older, and they obviously thought they were good, they're respected by everyone else at the arcade. You go down there, you start beating them, and they start to cry. What would you do? How would you feel? Or what do you think the people in the arcade would do?
I'll just get him another credit for the next game and go play again. I literally would. I'll be like, stop crying, man. Like, well, you lost for a reason, and then sort it out. You know what I mean? But I think other people would be pissing themselves just from seeing that. See someone growing, like crying over a game. Not many people would do that back then, but if they did, it would be funny.
No, I
They
think
get
the
shunned.
frustration is, and the reason why I said I understand is like, it's not so much that you're crying over the game as much as you're crying over the fact that you couldn't do it and it is a game. You know what I mean? It's like it's that feeling like I can't even win in a game. Like that's the frustration. It's not so much like you care about the game itself. It's just that you think that you should be able to do. I mean, obviously, it's a fighting game. You're fighting someone else, but you have this feeling of like, why can't I do this? It's just a game, and I think that's probably why. Like, I wouldn't say like it would always drive you to tears, but I can understand that feeling. Like it's
frustration,
especially if the game.
I mean, I've seen a quote in it. Like it says, "You can lose, but don't lose the lesson." It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like
deep luck.
everything you do, like seriously, like just learn what you're doing wrong and not do it. Try not to do it again. You know, I know it's ironic for me because I've got really bad habits when I play Ultra and certain fighting games. I'm a really spammy sort of character. I'm like do rinse repeat sort of guy. You know what I mean?
Rolls,
So
Relento rolls.
but
Teleports for no reason.
but
Not being covered by fireballs. Sick.
But yeah, it's like if you really want to take it to that level, like where you're really, really good, then you know you just got to learn everything you're doing wrong.
What I'm saying is like, don't you feel that like sometimes there isn't a lesson? Like, because I mean, I know people always say like you should learn from your losses, but I feel like you don't learn all.
If you're not learning something, yeah.
I think I know what Justice is going on about because I think we've had conversations about this before. When someone like say Nick, you go play Daigo and he beats you in a first to three, what would you learn from that? Like if he just perfected you each round, like, and he was doing it with one hand while eating noodles or something. I don't know, but he clearly
a pedestal right there. Geez.
Yeah. All right, he was eating Cheerios, right? And he beat you. But you know when someone beats you and you can tell that they're not even trying. What can you learn from that? I think that's what Justice is getting at. When someone's beating you so easily that they're not trying or doing anything special, but
10-second double P each round.
What when you get lightning looped, like what do you learn from that? Oh, not to get
barrier.
Oh mate, let's not talk about that guy. I think
Stop.
Yeah, I'm editing that out.
Just stop. Okay.
Could you learn something from that?
Yeah, hold down back. But
No, I mean, I think the conclusion we came to was that like you need.
I
need
think
to have like someone who's actually constructive and talks to you because that's how I learn. Like when I actually talk about it, when I learn stuff from the person who beat me, like when we're on cool terms, we can actually explain things. Because someone just finding you, bodying you, getting wins off you, and leaving, that doesn't help your development. That's just someone slapping your head and walking off.
That's the rank mode.
That's rank mode right there. Yeah, that's someone
right.
giving you a packet of salt, telling you to hold that, and then they walk out.
and then when you try to play them, they'll just kick you out the lobby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've already got my PP from you today. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. What I could take from a game like that against Daigo is the way he played, his style and his patterns. That is what I could take from it. I don't think as myself as what I could have done against it because I was simply not prepared for it to get perfect back to back. That's the only thing I can take with it, you know, like what his patterns are. So next time.
How about this? What if you're fighting Flux, right? This is Marvel. What if you're fighting Flux and you get perfected 4 times in a row? You didn't get to press nothing. You didn't get to do nothing. You just got perfected 4 times in a row.
This has happened.
By Zero Make Pi. What then?
Then you play Street Fighter. That's exactly what you do.
And learn those combos he was doing. That's all I could say.
No, you pick a game. Normally what happens because that has happened and I've never seen that person play again. It was like 8 at the break and
I've never seen him again.
I've never seen him again. He's probably played a game where there's no one touch of death and I don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him. That's like trying to play, I don't know, Uncharted without a pad. Like you're doing nothing. You're just watching. You're watching cinematics.
That was really bad. Four matches in a row. Come on, like that's
That brings me on to the next part. Obviously, the other end of the spectrum with crying. Say you're in arcade. I'll start with Drift again.
Right.
You're in arcade. You're playing someone.
Yep.
And you won't understand. Okay. I was about to say they're going to say something to you, but you wouldn't understand.
No. All right, let's assume this is in Japanese arcade. We all speak perfect Japanese or English or whatever.
Perfect. They started threatening you. Like, they're like, they say, do that again. Like, say you supered them. I don't know, whatever. You punch their fireball with a super.
Yeah.
And they say, do that again, and I'm going to knock you out.
Wow.
The first bit is, would you do it again?
Oh my
and the
god.
second bit is how would you react to the threat?
I've read the article. This is funny.
There's an article on this. Jesus.
Is there?
No, go on.
Oh no, I know what
Insane.
you mean about now. The one just in China with the King of Fighters game.
Yeah, but what would you do anyway?
What would I do? I'd ignore him. We were in an arcade, and being in Japan, Japanese people can be quite small. And if you're going to be in an arcade, you're probably quite tiny anyway. You're going to be a stereotypical geek, like, well, not even a geek, a taku. Like, they like their anime, they like the games, they like just collecting stuff and just staying inside. Now, I'm out here on a holiday. You know, I like to travel, I like to do stuff. I look at him and go, okay, whatever. If I get a chance, I'll do it again. If it does hit, and he goes, all right, let's go outside, then so be it. If that's what he wants to take it, you know, I've still got my gentlemanly stature, and he just goes out and tries to kick my ass. Like, I'm not even joking. I will be the person on the high road.
No, that's
I'll
true.
do it again. I'll be morally right.
What?
I'll do it again, and I'll hold my own. Like, if he wants to fight.
I forgot to add a bit into the story. The guy that you're playing is he's known for being the leader of the Yakuza. So
Oh my god.
you know he's not a chump. He's not
That
a
changes
chump.
the whole thing.
He's
Watch out for your
he's
fingers.
7'7", and he looks like Balrog. Right? Balrog Alt 2.
Oh my god.
And he says it in a way that installs fear into you. Like, he's not laughing, he's not really mad. He's like, do that again, I'm gonna pop this gat in your ass. He wouldn't say that, but
You get shanked. Alright.
yeah, he'll shank you with his samurai sword.
He'll chop off Griff's ring finger, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, try to do super now with them 2 fingers."
So like,
Alright,
basically, if you're actually scared of the person doing it, like threatening you, would you still, you know, carry on with your game? Would it affect you?
It will affect my mind. It's a mind game right there. That's threats, physical, psychological. This is still a threat. It's designed to throw you off your game, whatever it is. So if I'm going to be scared of this guy, I am scared of this guy. There's no two ways about it. The question is fight or flight. We're going into basic psychology. I said basic. This is not even 101. This is like child school, because I don't even know what I'm on about. But if I'm scared of the guy, I'm scared of the guy. If I'm that crazy, I'll do it again. See, depending how I feel that day. Legit. If on that day I play against this guy and he turns around and says to me, "Do it again, I'll shank you," deadpan, and I feel that fear. I've got that fear. He's gonna do it if I do it again. If I feel ballsy, if I can run out the arcade, hit that exit quick enough, I'll do it and then I'll run.
I respect that.
Ballsy.
I respect
Running.
that. No. To do the super after you've been told not to do it, that's
With a guy with a knife or a gun or whatever next to you saying, "Do it again, I'll shoot you."
Yo, no.
I respect that.
No, no. Life over games, man. Legit. It's not even about playing a game for respect, or it's survival. Game's a game. You got to survive. Guy tells you to not do it again. If you got the balls to do it,
super. You literally got to survive. I'm gonna chop off your fingers and shit.
Justice. What would you do? Same scenario, but obviously this isn't Yakuza. This is, I don't know, some 5-year-old kid with a death note. I don't know. He said he's going to write your name in it if you beat him.
Okay, the thing is, there's a variety of things that are going to happen, right? In a given situation, especially if this is an arcade. In the first place, right, what I would do, right, personally, I'd pause the game instantly, be like, okay, homie, first of all, like, that's too real for me, right? I'm just here to play. I'm just here to chill. We don't need none of that. Second of all, the arcade owner is going to stand up, get out of his chair, and be like, nah, you don't, nigga. Just pick him up, and chuck him out of there. That's what's going to happen.
pop that shit.
Like, you're not going to do it. Like, literally, if anybody even insinuates any kind of violence, like the type of, like, arcade owners I know, they wouldn't have it. They would just pick the guy up, roll him up, and just roll him out of there.
Yeah. I think all arcades should be like that, but
Yeah.
it's hard. It's
It's the same in Philippines. You got security guards. If anything that sort of scenario happens, they just run up and go, yeah, get out of the fucking mall.
See, that's the thing. See, now that you mentioned that, like America and Philippines, you've got security guards. You've got the owner of said arcade in that quite close region. They can just stand up and go, nah, we're not having that, get out.
Yeah.
And throw them out. Japan, like where I was, you have attendants. They're not owners. They're not security guards. They're just everyday people doing their job. they're not going to try and stop a guy with a gun with a knife.
Yeah.
They're just going to go, oh crap,
Yeah.
and then watch what happens.
Pretty much that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty much like that. Just attendance, right? No security, nothing.
Yeah. But if you're in a mall, there's going to be security guards somewhere close. Like in Japan, the arcade, there was probably policemen 2 blocks down, like down some alleyway that you don't know about, and they're just buying a cup of coffee or something.
The policeman lay in the alleyway. It's shocking.
Nuts.
But you know what I mean?
I was going to ask, in your guys' opinions, starting with Drift again, what do you think's worse? The kid that cries or the kid that threatens you? What do you think's like the lower, like, sort of feeling to have? What's the worst feeling to have?
Worst feeling to have? The guy that threatens you, because you don't want that in your scene. You don't want that in the community.
Yeah.
A guy that cries, you know, he's emotional about that game. He feels for that game. He's got heart. A guy that threatens you, he's just some scumbag off the street playing some games, trying to win some money off you. He's trying to hustle you. That's not what you want in the scene or community. You don't want that in your life.
Nah, nobody needs any of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm with Dress on that one. I'm gonna say exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, them sort of characters in Philippines, like when you knew they were just a bit too violent, they were just like trying to rob you in a certain way. Everyone else was like, "Nah, man, you ain't welcome here. Get out of here, or it's all of us against you. You can't be coming for money matches, and then when you lose, get all salty and then try to get your money, try to rob." You have to leave.
You can get the table flippers. Like, you know, you get the angry guys. You get guys that flip tables that pop off too early. They're fine. They are just they're emotional as the guy that cries.
Angle
But-
used to pull out knuckle dust and shit, go like give him money back. And shit. None of that, man.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like, obviously, there's a difference between them guys who are legit serious, like they actually threaten you with violence, and the people who just they're getting frustrated, they're getting angry. Like, yeah, they might flip a table, they might like throw a stick or whatever. Like, I know people think it's kind of like manufactured drama. It's not. This is what people don't understand.
Yeah, it's a real emotion.
People actually get mad about fighting games.
It's a real emotion.
like NLBC, like no Brown, just throwing the sticks when he loses a set. Like, I feel for him.
What do you mean, Sanford Kelly?
Oh, sorry, Sanford Kelly, and not Noel Brown.
Yeah,
Sanford
yeah,
Kelly.
Oh no, the Noel Brown, he bionic armed someone.
He punched the guy.
That was.
Oh yeah, that was
But-
legit.
Right, do you think he had a legit reason to do that? Talking about
No.
scenes as well. Do you like? Obviously, anyone who doesn't know who's listening, basically, the story goes: Noel Brown was playing someone in Marvel. Someone in the background, I think it was Smooth Viper, was basically trolling
It was smooth.
Noel Brown.
Yeah.
So he was losing, and he was, the usual like, nigga this, nigga that,
Your
and
shit.
Noel Brown lost. He got off his chair, hit,
Stopped
and
him.
wait, I forgot the main part of the story.
He's in
Smooth
crutches.
Viper. No, Smooth Viper was on crutches.
Yeah.
Smooth
what?
Viper was on crutches. Noel Brown got up and lumped him. Bopped
Was
him
this
straight
was
in the
in New
face.
York, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this was
Smooth was asking for it. Like, obviously, like.
No, there's mouthing off, but there's some people forgot. Some people didn't read the full article, and I found this out. Like, Smooth Viper was actually, apart from just verbal abuse, which verbal abuse, that's part of the game. That's trying to throw people off. He was touching Noel's stuff. Like, Noel put his wallet, his phone, his keys out on the desk, and he was just moving it about and moving it out of the way.
Yeah.
Just so if you touch a man's stuff, you don't deserve to get punched, but you shouldn't do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Violence is never an option. It should never be an option. But in the world we live in, violence has to sometimes happen.
Yeah, but just not over like Marvel
A game.
vs. Capcom. Like, that's at least
Marvel's too real.
that's like the worst game to get angry about. Like, just accept what's happening to you.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing is as well, like, different fighting games breed different vices. Like,
I think so.
with
Yeah.
Capcom games, they're so stupidly designed that you're gonna get mad at like everything because it's not even so much the other player, it's the game that's screwing you over. That's why you get mad. With other games, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna put some people on blast. Like with anime, for example, because I noticed this.
Yes.
With anime, like the games are good, but that's the problem. It makes people think that they're the king of the world and everyone else are their subjects, and that's really like
Amen.
this sort of like queen bee mentality because their game is good, so they just think that like they can just shit on everyone else.
That's exactly how I feel.
Like, oh,
Yeah, I agree with that.
mad or whatever.
That's
But, like,
exactly how, I'm not even going to try and run from that.
I mean, who was that guy who came to that GG tournament, Mace, and then he took a picture and goes, "Thanks for the money." Is that like a prime example?
the French guy,
Is that Baku, yeah?
Baku, yeah, Venom player.
Is that a prime example of that? Of what Patrick? Of what Justice just said?
No, I think Justice is saying from an anime player. Like, you know how I would say, oh, Street Fighter's got this blah 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 wrong with it, and it's because I play anime games, so I can see the flaws in Street Fighter more than someone who's playing Street Fighter.
Hence why you're like one ultra.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, you can do this. If you was playing Guilty Gear, I'd be like, oh, Street Fighter, you can tech throws. Come play Guilty Gear, try and take a throw there, like that sort of thing. Like, it's like, oh, you've got all these things you can do. The same when I used to play Cross Tekken. And I was like, oh, come play Cross Tekken, it's a better game. You can alpha cannon, so you don't have to sit and block stun for 4 hours. Like, that sort of stuff. So you compare games and make them seem inferior to the game you're playing. I think that's...
And it's like, it's not like there's anything wrong with saying your game is good. It's just that mentality doesn't help either, because, like, that's the other level. It's like the other level of snobbery where it's like, you're not some douche getting mad about the game. You're some douche hyping up the game to the point that you're just being, you know, a douchebag just as badly.
Just because. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, like, that's the problem. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. I mean, but it doesn't. It's a weird thing because obviously for years people talked about Smash.
Yeah.
And now look at it. People didn't even consider that a fighting game because it didn't have any life bars, which is completely stupid.
I still consider it a fighting game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really need to be. Though. Like that's the thing. Because like I could call Smash an item throwing game, but it doesn't matter. That thing's competitive anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, it's a competitive game, and you can class it as a fighting game. But personally, I like to make people salty and say it's not a fighting game.
So you're doing that douchebag thing we just talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
No, but like,
isn't it funny?
You know, isn't it funny that? I mean, if we're talking about scenes, the Smash community, from what I've heard and seen, has the exact problem that I talked about, where
I've seen this as well.
think their game is too nice, kind of thing.
Yep.
And look, it is a good game. Nobody's denying it's a really fun game, fighting game or not. But it's like, don't do that. Like, don't. Yeah. Nobody look. Fair enough. Some people who play Street Fighter, like, Smash isn't a real game, right? They can say that all they want, but they won't deny that it's fun to watch or fun to play.
Yeah.
But when a Smash person is basically all like, oh, Street Fighter shit, Marvel shit, anime shit, it's like, okay, like dial back for a second, okay? Like, look, your game is cool, but you're not. Just stop.
You're not God. You're not.
Do you not think it's because obviously, to quote a very good song, they start from the bottom, now they're here. So they're like, you know, we had this for years. People used to put us down for years. Now we're making it. Now our players are getting money for playing this game. Now we're getting sponsored. Now everyone cares about Smash. Now, like, Nintendo's backing it as well. It's time for us to put all you guys down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know you're right. Like, it's like revenge mentality of, you know, you crapped on us, so we crapped on them. That's why I'm not necessarily like so shocked by it, because when I first heard like that's how some Smash players act, like, you know, sort of screw every game but Smash. I can sort of see that, because if you enjoy your game and if everyone kind of treated you badly, and your game's getting bigger, then you'll have that closed-minded mentality of like, yeah, we're the best because our game's really good.
Where was you in them dark times?
I'm going to bring a sports analogy to it, because it's basically it's British sports, football versus rugby. You will get that fight.
True.
Any pub, you go into a pub and you've got a football guy next to a rugby guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
That will go. Which game's better? What I have seen with the Smash community though, is that it's so segregated and segmented.
It is.
Like Smash 4 versus Brawl, they will actually fight about which Smash is better.
Yep.
And
but isn't that because unlike most scenes, they play all the games in the series, whereas most scenes don't do that. They just play the newest version.
Yeah, I think just goes to show the difference in them, where they don't even class it as like a predecessor. They just class it as, this is Melee, this is Brawl, this is 4, and we've got Project M, and then that's it. They're like 4 individual games by Nintendo.
Yeah,
in their eyes, I don't play it, so I wouldn't know like the transgression. I've heard they are very different.
They are different.
Yeah, they've got mega different mechanics, but it's kind of like Marvel 2 to Marvel 3. Like, everyone from Marvel 2 tried Marvel 3. Everyone in Marvel 2 besides Stanford Kelly played Marvel 3.
Yeah,
but they didn't kind of like separate the game. They said, "Oh, this is the new one. We got to play it." Where Smash would be like, "I played it. It's crap. I'm going back."
Yeah, I mean, okay, you know what? Honestly, the best way to explain this is just with Tekken. And I don't know if you guys play Tekken, but like the best example, because I feel like the Smash games more or less follow like Tekken in the sense of like the really big one, the one that everybody bandwagons and says is the best, rightly so, is like Melee, right? Which is pretty much like Tekken 5.
Right.
Then comes Brawl, which is like Tekken 6, which pissed a lot of people off. Right. Then comes Smash 4, which is like Tag 2, brought everyone back and is really awesome. Right. That's kind of how I see it. Like each generation of the game has its like players. So like the really iconic one is the one everyone plays, everyone knows, and it has a lot of hype with it.
Tekken 3 gone.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's pretty much like that's the one everyone knows and loves because it's a classic.
Yeah.
But with Brawl, it ruins so much of what made Melee good. Because the thing is, Melee lasted for years. Then the Wii came out. Then Brawl came out. Then because of Sakurai, having a lapse in judgment, he just ruined so many things.
IMO.
Right? He wanted to make it a family game, innit? He didn't really want it to be
exactly. He forced items in some cases. He added the tripping thing. He made it so you can't like L cancel or wherever you can't. And also like one of the other things that really hurt the game is the speed of it and the floatiness. So the fact that characters don't die forever, like that really hurt the game for a lot of people because the excitement of Smash comes from like knocking people in the air and like they have to get back down. But if you're floating for ages, it just drags it out. That's why Brawl is so long to watch, because when you're playing Brawl, it's not too bad, but when someone just keeps coming back when they're like 200%, like it gets a bit dull, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get you.
We're kind of going a bit off subject, but just to go back on Justice's point about the difference between Brawl and Melee, I just want to say, isn't that what happened from Street Fighter Third Strike to Street Fighter 4?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're all in agreement on that, like they made Street Fighter 4 a family-friendly game, which
pretty much
revived the scene. So I won't hate Street Fighter 4. Like I never have anything good to say about it, but I will never hate it because
I always used Akuma, and in Street Fighter 4, I just gave up on Akuma. I was just like,
well,
what
I mean,
happened to
Street
Fighter
Fighter
4 is one happy accident after the other. They keep making the game as like lackadaisical or whatever, I even know what the term is. Like they make it as sort of like they don't care kind of thing, and it just works.
Yeah,
and that's what really concerns me. Like how are you getting away with making a fighting game series however you want?
Because consumers don't know what they want.
That's true. No, it's true.
I'm not even trolling. Consumers do not know what they want. They will buy not even lackluster stuff. They like easy and normal stuff. That's why.
No, I'll say lackluster.
Like you want? Okay, you go that far. I'm trying to be neutral, but if I wasn't on a podcast, I would definitely say that. But
no, you're the host. You have to be middle ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just a guest. I can say.
You can say anything you want.
Anything, nearly.
I mean, I guess you're right, but that's what it's like. What bothers me about Street Fighter 4, right? And I'm not sure if you guys might agree or not, because the thing about Street Fighter in general, Street Fighter isn't exactly the most fair, balanced fighting game series, period, despite being the most popular. The thing about 4, though, is that at its core, it's got all these really honest, really fair things that are like fundamentals and just really exciting. But then you have Focus Attack, which is a
watered down version of parry.
A high, medium, low parry that, for some stupid reason, can stun lock you from half screen, because why not, right? Will armor break you if it gets charged to its highest level, and can, for some reason, make hitboxes disappear, right? That's the first thing. Then you have
coding.
Ultra combos, which, for whatever reason, can do up to 60% of your life. They can anti-air, they're invincible, and they're free meter. Who thought this was a good idea?
A 5-year-old.
Well, too bad.
And the 5-year-old and everyone bought it.
Exactly.
And loved it. And
Exactly. It's exactly said. It's family friendly.
Yeah. But to be fair to the game,
PG-12.
Yeah, it is. But to be fair to the game, there is there's a competitive element where it's really high level, really smart things go on, and it's obviously given us like probably people that would never notice before in any other game, like Smug and stuff. Like Smug would never be able to do what he's doing in Street Fighter 4 in First Strike with Dudley. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Because it's the system, man. The game system is so good. Like, I mean, I know obviously it's crying over spilt milk. Like, we're on Ultra Street Fighter 4, the 5th version. But the thing that bothers me is, as I said, at its core, right? I mean, I know this is weird because, like, as like fighting game players, I'm not trying to like big us up or anything. As fighting game players, when you can see into like the innards of a game, you can see that honesty. You can see what makes it fun. Like, that's what I respect personally. But on the surface, and the thing that attracts so many other people is the flashy stuff, the easy stuff, the family friendly.
Ignorance is bliss.
Shout out to Marvel 3.
Like, and that's fine because I attract them to. But I feel like when those two things interact, it makes it really annoying. because like you're trying to enjoy the game, you're trying to get good at it, but the game's easy mode is getting in the way, and I think that's what really bothers me.
No, when you're playing someone dumb in a game,
Yeah.
that's it. You try and play smart. You know the game. You've sat here for the last 10 years playing this game for the last 5 iterations up to fucking Omega, Ultra even, yeah. And then some guy comes up, just buys Ultra, day 1, and you lose to him. We're like, what's happening here?
I'm having him beat me because I'm trying to play footsies, and his stupid focus stops me from freaking moving.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point.
Okay.
That why. That is why. But
that only happens in Capcom games.
The reason of why, the answer to why is because it's PG-12. It's so family friendly.
You playing at like you with your 9,000 power level and like really intelligent like strat is on par with someone who'd literally been playing it for a week and done all the trial modes.
Yeah, and mind you, it's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, basically all I was going to say is you got so smart, you forgot how to go dumb.
Oh, yeah. That's
it.
a big thing, yeah. It's hard to go full retard. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is just that, by the end, because this is on topic, really, it's not like other fighting games haven't done this. Other fighting games have, like, their easy modes and the tutorial modes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, where you can just mash stuff and have fun and supers will come out. It's really cool. But the difference is there's a penalty. And if you play against someone who knows what they're doing, you will lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, perfect example, right? BlazBlue games, right? They have the simple mode, right? So you just press a bunch of buttons. They do auto combos, right?
Yeah.
And you hold down a button, it does a super. That's really cool. But guess what? You can't burst. You can't burst, and you just mash that button. You'll do unsafe stuff on block and lose. I like that, though.
Yeah.
You put 2 people in the room who aren't good at the game. Say, here's this flashy anime game.
Have
right?
fun.
So put on easy, but have fun. It's cool. You play against me, you're not going to win. And I like that. Right? I like that. You're not
That's a challenge right now.
I think you just like saying that.
You've heard this right here.
Yeah.
No, like literally, like I like that idea that listen, if you want to play properly, then you know we'll have to learn, like get into the game and play it properly. You know, turn off the training wheels and just understand it, and then we can both enjoy this game competitively.
If we want to play smart, like footsie fundamental games, play Third Strike. If you want to have fun, play Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
it's like I feel like the fact that a game like Street Fighter didn't do that, didn't separate like the easy mode from the actual legit play, is what I think is its greatest strength and its greatest weakness.
Yes,
but
I agree with that.
To be fair, we need to move on. But I just want to say this bit quickly.
No, that's fine.
To be fair, I think they did do that with Cross Tekken. I think that's what they tried to do. They tried to separate like the casual and the pro. I won't say like noobs or beginners. With the whole gem stuff, yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to say, look, okay, instead of making the whole game accessible at every level and you can win, so like Joe Bloggs from round the corner got this on week 1 and beat Justin Wong, what they did is they made Cross Tekken and said, okay, look, if you want it to be easy mode, quote unquote, here's some gems that will help you out. Here, you can have auto block. You can have auto tech. But the good players won't need to use that because they can do it without the meter, without the gem.
But it's just like with like boost chains and stuff. They didn't balance it at first, so obviously it was a problem. But then 2013 they made it unsafe.
Yeah, they said like, this boost chain's unsafe, so you can play easy mode and do this easy combo, but you'll be punished if you miss it, or you will lose out on damage because the damage.
That's what I was gonna say. Like if you just do boost chains 24/7, you're not
gonna kill anyone.
Yeah, you're just gonna do nothing. Yeah. So which is good. So you're right. Anyway, so we can move on.
Yeah, that's what I think that's what they tried to do across Tekken. But the last point I wanted to do regards to locations is we'll start with Luck this time and go back around the other way. Luck, say you were still in the Philippines, you never came over here, you didn't bless us with your Dalsim, and you kept it all the way over there across the seas. Do you think he would have? Yeah, he would yoga snipers from over there. Do you think you would be as good as you are now? So basically, like, do you think your scene or the arcade you go to has to be good for you to be a good player?
The thing is, with the current generation now, with the internet and social media and forums and communication, it's like I learned most of my stuff off the internet. To be honest, like after I met, people who went to offline scenes. And I've got all the info about, the online community and stuff. Finding the stuff on the internet, I think I'd still, manage to find a way to get good at certain games, even if I can't find other people who play the game.
Right.
in person. So yeah, I think it's still possible, man. And yeah, that's basically all I can say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Justice, same to you. Do you think you need to have people obviously at the same level or higher skill level than you to be a better player, or do you think you could just, kick it with some noobs and beat them all day and still be a good player?
I ain't gonna lie, this
You like
is a personal dilemma of mine. I feel like the thing, because I mentioned this to you a while ago, Mace, that... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, you're back now. You're back
Okay,
now.
yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, sorry about that. That was weird. No, I'm saying I mentioned this to you a while ago, right? That the thing that hurt, like playing anime for me, was the lack of.
What's
Might cut
happening?
out again.
Yeah, I think you cut out.
Fisher Price, isn't it?
Oh, it was so close. It was so
Hate
close
to
to
win.
being a good podcast. Oh no.
No, we can carry on.
Anime
We'll
gods.
carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. Okay, Drift.
chop it up, man, and when you can't.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Right, we'll go with Drift. Drift. Same question to you. If you was in the Japanese arcade, it's kind of different because I think you would be a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better.
But yeah, do you think? All right, let's flip it. Do you think there's any noobs? If you went to a Japanese arcade, do you think you'd run into any noobs? Because
Yes.
you do.
There will always be in any game a day one player. And well, I was going to just stop there, but any
hello?
game.
Oh, hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Justice
you're
is
back.
back.
Justice, we're just gonna do Drift quickly because obviously you cut out. So
You know, that's fine. That's fine.
So so the reverse question is, if a new player was go on, mate. What was the question again? I forgot.
right, yeah, I flipped it for Drift obviously because he's from the Japanese arcade. Is there any like bad players there? And he's saying obviously, yeah, there's always noobs and.
Yeah, any game there's always noobs. Like you can't get away from that fact. Someone will always be either a day 1 player, day 10 player, whatever. They will just play that game so casually they touch it once a month. There will always be bad players. But at the same time, it's for regions, I'd say, the level of badness that you get obviously differs because the worst player in Japan might be the best player in Canada. Not to put Canada on blast, but it is just 2 different regions.
Lapchi.
Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, hang on now. But yeah. The worst player might be the best player in some other region, but they might still be day 1. Like to put 2 day 1 character players on from 2 different regions, let them play one day like I did in Japan or in India. There you go, some other country.
Yeah.
Put them together, and the bad versus bad, someone's still going to win.
Yeah, so like if we had, for example, the worst player in your arcade against the worst player in Lux Arcade,
Yeah.
you would still put it on the Japanese player. Like,
Yeah.
as stereotypes go, you would bet against the Japanese player, even though he's day 1.
I will go with the stereotype on that one.
Yeah.
And say Japan would probably win.
So bad, isn't it? But but it would happen. I think most people do it. Everyone but
99%.
Nick probably, because Nick would think like, oh, I've got to rep my ends. So
Yeah. Saying that, I might get lynched when this podcast comes out because being Chinese, a lot of people don't like that Chinese-Japanese thing going. Different story for different day.
you're all right. It's all right. No one can see you on the Skype. They don't know what you look like. It's fine.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna put it out there until they follow you on Twitter. Which you gave us. But yeah, Justice. The question to you. You was obviously speaking about it with Blaz. I think you was gonna talk about the Blaz in the online community.
Yeah, I was saying that like the thing that hurt playing for me was the lack of skill variety, the fact that it ended up being the same like 5 douchebags over and over just beating you and you're not learning anything. But like it's always good to have a variety of players, people worse than you, at your level better than you, because you get to learn so many things, right? You get to learn, first of all, like fighting people like, on your level, preferably your friends, is great because you learn stuff, you have fun. Fighting people better than you will like test your limits and force you to get better. Like there's so many situations I remember playing BlazBlue where someone was doing something I didn't know how to deal with. It forced me to adjust, and I think those moments of development were really beneficial. And also fighting people worse than you, because whereas in some cases they're easy wins, like players doing certain things, having certain habits, will teach you to deal with stuff you don't normally have. Because if I just play like people who are just sort of at my level or whatever, and we're doing footsies or whatever, then I play someone who's worse and just abuses the same thing. I find I can't deal with that. So like playing them is good because I learned, okay, I have to deal with these bad habits and these things at the same time. Because I mean, at the same time, the issue I have with Ultra at the moment is that like compared to Super, especially when Super was free on Xbox Live, like I feel like I can't beat anyone online in Ultra. I just play my friends mostly, but like going online, especially ranked, it's like everybody's freaking B rank. Everyone's freaking played the game for years. I can't even like touch them, whatever, and it's just like it's annoying because I want to have some decent matches, but I don't know, rank's not really the best place to do it. So I feel like it's if you have that variety of people to both play and talk to, you learn a lot, or you can teach a lot as well. And I think that's very useful because, especially in a game like Street Fighter, where we're discovering stuff every day, like it's good to know stuff that you didn't know, or it's good to understand like certain matchup practice. Plus also, here's another thing. When you're playing quote-unquote good players or whatever, they'll probably have their characters. They'll probably stick to specific characters. But like I found that when you're playing maybe players who aren't as good who play casually, they might pick just like whatever character. So you'll get to have matchup experience against characters you probably never fight. Yeah. And that's really good. So if somebody has like, I don't know, like a pocket Dan or something, you'd be like, oh, aha, like I know what you're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I had that problem once when this is in Birmingham actually, like when I went to an arcade, and someone was playing Guy and Dan, and it's like nobody I know plays Guy or Dan, and I was like, oh, I mean, I didn't expect it to be a problem because I just assumed like, oh, I'm okay at the game, I'll probably beat him, right? But I noticed I was just losing to all this stuff. I was getting like anti-aired by Guy's Tatsu. I was falling for like Dan shenanigans, and it was just like, why can't I deal with this? Like, these characters aren't exactly that good. And I realized that, oh, that's because I don't play anyone who plays these characters. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's also useful.
That's exactly like me going to Philippines, and I pulled out Sim, and no one played Sim there. They were like, what the fuck? They didn't know the tech I was doing. They weren't prepared for it.
It's not necessarily you being a bad player. It's just you just don't know what you're doing. It's like
you need
like
experience.
Me, it's like me chucking at like Luckbox, like Injustice, and saying, "Come beat me." Like you don't know. Like if you haven't fought that character before, it's like playing a different game. Stuff that you're used to doing. Like you can anti-air like Chung Li all day, but then you try and anti-air Jury, it's completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's mad. Nick, obviously we've already asked you, haven't we?
What is?
Oh yeah, you gave that really short, like deep and meaningful answer.
No, it's true. It's like the internet's there. You can learn. You know, like not everyone's gonna be on your level, but you're still gonna play them. Like otherwise, what's the point? Who are you gonna play? Like,
yeah, well, but I mean, but that's just it though. To be real, like that's what stops people from playing. Because I mean, let's be honest, it's a fighting game, and if you don't win, you're probably gonna stop playing and play something else.
Yeah.
Well, I'll more or less teach them as I go along because I'd want to get better games. You know, like I probably wouldn't be a cunt and just sorry for the French again. I wouldn't be a mean person, like not telling them what wrong. But like you know, it's natural. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that," and people will learn eventually. So
see, like I'm gonna try and close it up, but I was gonna say like my point on this is I'm kind of in the middle. Like I would prefer to play someone who's gonna beat me 20 zip because I feel like I can learn something from that. Like if I lose 20 zip, there's something fundamentally wrong with me, and I need to address it. Like
okay, no, hold on. I'm gonna take a twist in this one.
I wouldn't mind that as long as I knew what it was that I need to learn.
Yeah, if you're gonna play someone and he's gonna beat you 20-0,
yeah,
would you still play him knowing that he's gonna beat you 20-0 and then not tell you anything afterwards, so you don't know what you're learning?
I wouldn't.
Right, see me, it's a perfect example yesterday, right? Shout out to Guilty Gear. I was playing Guilty Gear, and I got knocked out in the Guilty Gear tournament by 2 Venoms. I beat Amelia, and I beat a Soul, but I lost the 2 Venoms. And in my head, obviously the game's pretty new, and I don't like putting like roadblocks in my head, thinking, oh, it's a bad matchup, that's why I lost. So I thought, you know what, get rid of that. I'm just going to look for every Venom online, and I'm going to play him. Funnily enough, I found a person who won that tournament, the French guy, BoxQ.
Heard him, yeah?
Yep. I bumped into him in ranked, and I said, dude, I need to keep playing you. He only played me like 3 or 4 times, and I got 1 round on him. He beat me like really convincing. He like insta-killed me like every round like a arsehole. But I did learn something. I learned that what I was doing was wrong. And
make sure show me some of that Venom tech when I get the game, yeah?
don't worry about that game. It's not for you. It's definitely. But yeah, I learned that I didn't necessarily learn exactly what I need to do, but I learned that what I was doing is wrong. I like to try and get in there because my character Leo he's basically Cammy. He needs to get in, knock you down, then he's got really good Oki. But Venom keeps you away. So it's like, okay, how can I get around this keep away game? And I worked out that what I was doing was not it. I just got to just kind of play like a slow and steady. I've got to move forward, block, move forward, block, move forward, block, throw a fireball, walk forward until he gets in the corner, and then he has to make a choice to jump over or stay in the corner. He can't do a keep away game eventually. It's only because I was playing the matchup wrong. So in some situations, yeah, getting destroyed by someone who's 10 times more advanced than you are is good. You learn a lesson, not as efficient, I would say. It's more brutal. It hurts a lot more. And
But that stuff's ingrained in you then, because you've had that 20-0 loss.
yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. I feel more determined than frustrated when that happens, and I can see why people get more frustrated than determined. If I put in Marvel and lost 20 zip like on like week 1, I'd say this game's whack. Like it's rubbish. That's why I can't win. So I would have dropped it. But yeah, like for me,
Well, I mean, but in some cases it's also the game and not always the player, because I mean, like, or it's like the nature of the beast. Because I mean, I'll be honest, I'm biased. Everyone can probably tell that. If I lose 20-0, okay, I probably wouldn't lose 20-0, but if I lost 20-0, right, in
no more than 17,
that's not even
turning off.
confidence. I'm just saying, like, if I lost 20-0 in like Cross Tekken Blaze Blue or something, Tekken, right? I would know this because I probably should start doing something that I'm not doing. If I lose 20-0 in Street Fighter, it's Street Fighter. No, I mean,
Wow.
no, I'm being
Bliss.
serious. Like, if I lose, like back in the day, right, when I used to play online tons in Blaze Blue, and I was just losing left, right, and center, I'm like, I need to get better, and I did get better, and I started winning a bit more, right? When I was losing in Cross Tekken, right, way back in the day, way back in Vanilla, before like DLC or whatever, right? I knew there are things I need to do. I needed to anti-air more. I need to alpha counter more. I need to do all this stuff, right? When I'm losing in Street Fighter, I feel like this is going to happen 100 times more, and I can't stop it because it's the stupid game.
You know what? Sometimes I do feel like that. When
I partially agree as well. Yeah,
I don't want to because I don't want to bash Street Fighter. But when it's like Bison against like Guile, I think, what is the point? There's nothing I can learn from this. I'm born to lose this match. I'm born to lose it. Like, you've given me no tools to beat this character. You've given me nothing.
I'm gonna do one up. I'm gonna go one up on that one, because everyone in this podcast right now loves focus attacks.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yun fierce punch into red focus combo.
Right.
You're gonna eat that every time. If you don't eat it, you block it. Then you hit a button out, and it's still holding red focus. You're still gonna eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I can't really dispute it. It is kind of the case where matchups really dominate Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
And
you see you in 3 bars, that's it, you're going to see red focus.
Yeah, it's really hard to learn in Street Fighter 4, I think. A lot of it is more... You hear about it more in that game than other games as well, where it's like, I need to learn the matchup. Not, I need to learn to beat this player or this player.
To beat this player, yeah. To fight.
Like, even I do it. Like, I play Jammers, shout out to him. I play Poison, and I think Bison against Poison is horrendous, but someone said it's not. It's in Bison's favor, and I was like, "Dude, this is basically fighting Guile, who can walk forward and do Sonic Boom. What are you talking about? This is the worst matchup known to man." But instead of focusing on Poison beats Bison, I should think about what does Jammers want to do? He always wants to overhead me, do his stupid love me tender gimmicks. Like that's what I've got to learn. It's not about what the character can do; it's what the character is actually doing to me. That's what I need to adjust to. So, but yeah, with Street Fighter. That's the only time I think like that. In any other game, I try to not think about matchups.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel. Because like with Cross Tekken, I reached the point where it's like I know all the characters, I know all the moves. Now I have to start fighting the player, right? And that's the level I'm at. That's the level I'm sure most people are at. But with Street Fighter, I thought I was past that, but apparently not. I feel like that's just the game. You have to always be aware of what the character's doing. Because I used to think that, oh no, I have to fight the player. But that basically, it's like it reached the point where I tried to not autopilot in the sense of just press the same buttons in a flowchart, but I used to think that I can just autopilot the same tools to beat every character, and it wasn't working. I used to think that, okay, these are my best anti-airs, these are my best options, these are my best buttons for spacing, okay, I can win whatever match. And it wasn't working, And then I realized that it's not the player, it's the character. And I was like, I have to start fighting the characters now.
Yeah, because the hitbox difference, that their counter moves, all that sort of stuff.
Jump speed, arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dominant in Street Fighter. Very dominant in Street Fighter.
Yeah. Shout out to Vortexes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Shouts to Ibuki. You can't nerf me. You can take away the mechanic, but you can't take away a Vortex.
You ever run into them guys online who don't learn anything about Vortex?
Yeah.
Every Ibuki player.
They don't learn anything, actually. Like, they don't actually have any moves. They just, like, try and knock
Vortex.
you down and just go for Vortex. Like, I mean, it was weird to me, because it's like, I saw this person playing Ibuki. Like, say what?
Shouts to the delayed wake up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Not
they'd
working.
knock me down, and then they'd go for Vortex. But then, like, when I reset the neutral, then they're not doing anything?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? Like, wait, so they just know Vortex. They're not even playing the game.
It's kind of like they don't need to, though. What, if I played Ibuki, I would not care about footsies. It's like, I'm going to hit you eventually. I'm going to do a random net breaker. I'm going to throw out a sweep. As soon as you get knocked down, then I start to play. Then I can do
Shout
what I
out to
do.
boosters on online ranked Street Fighter 4.
They still exist.
Apparently so. I found one last night, actually, or the night before.
Oh my God.
1 round, 50-second Ibuki players. Literally just hitting neck breaker and then running away for the next 50 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah,
I thought that was gone a long time ago.
they still come back.
Like, I think that's what's so crazy about, I think, Street Fighter compared to most other fighting games. Not even just like the character thing, but it's like there's so many different things you can get away with that other games would punish you for doing, because like other games legitimately have like punishments. Like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear have, you know, negative warning, right? So you can't just be stupid and just get away with that. Other games have guard break, other games have burst, so you don't have these shenanigans that you can just autopilot for the whole game, because the game will literally say stop doing that, play properly, right? And it'll force you to play properly. I mean, but you can still mix it up. But like with Street Fighter, because there's no real like penalty for doing anything, you can play however you want, pretty much.
We come back full circle to PG-12. Not even 13, PG-12.
Yeah, PG-12. Shout out to freedom of doing what you like when you like. Shout out to all the self players.
Shout out to America, freedom.
Freedom, yep, that's all it is. It is freedom. It's like, you want this character? Here you go. You can SPD or DP with Seth. Have fun. Have fun.
Do what you want.
Do what you want. 50 coin flips over and over again.
Yeah, no, I remember when Street Fighter. It's funny because it's like when Street Fighter 4 came out, right? And I was at my cousin's house at the time, and it's like we played it. It's funny. This is before I knew anything about the game, right? He just put the disc in the 360, right? I picked Ryu, he picked Bison. We're on Volcano stage. It was all like epic.
Oh yeah.
Right, we were just playing like, oh, this is so sick. Like, you know, the graphics are sick. The moves are sick, right? And then it's like I started reading about it and went online. And everyone's like, oh, Seth is so cheap. Akuma's so cheap. I'm like, really? They don't seem that bad. I'm like, oh, I see why. Because I didn't know about Focus Attack or Ultras. Like, we were just playing, Street Fighter. Yeah. We didn't know Focus Attack. We didn't know Ultras. So we were just trying to play an honest game. Then when I found out all that stuff, I was like, oh my god, like, what am I supposed to do about this?
Silliness. But right, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We definitely covered everything we needed to. Had a little bit of a rant on Street Fighter. I will say this before I close out. If you want an honest game, go play Dive Kick.
Legit, no, I'll agree with that.
Thank you. Cyber.
Two buttons. How can you ruin that game apart from mechanics?
It is literally... They could have just left Dive and Kick in there and it would be the most balanced fighting game known to man. And the better player would always win.
Street Fighter 1. Ryu mirrors.
Yep, that's it. We're all going to wear red plimsolls and the better player will always win. That's how it should be. But we don't live in that. We live in a day and age where comebacks are cool and underdogs always get rooted for. So
and games released aren't finished. Shout out to DLC.
Shout out to people doing that before that. But anyway, yeah, it's not cross Tekken. They've been doing that before that. Definitely doing that before that. But yeah, I think with the regards to like balancing and stuff, we don't actually want balanced games because it would be boring.
Yeah, I know.
If
Capcom versus SNK 2, there you go.
I don't want balanced games. I want fair games. Okay, I don't necessarily want everyone to be like 100% the same or whatever, but just make it so that I can beat them. That's all I want.
That's the only way it could be fair. The only way you can make a fair game is if you have one person on the character select screen. Then it's fair. Then it's up your head. Then it's your strategy against someone else's.
I just want to
America.
That, even if my character's different, I have the tools, like the basic system tools in the game to beat them, even if my tools are different. I think is what I'm trying to say. Like if my character can be miles apart from the character I'm playing against, but at least my character can still beat them and he can beat me. Like I think that to me is fair. Like not balanced because my character might be better, but if I'm not careful, the other person could beat me anyway.
You just describing dive kick, dude. That's literally it. You're literally talking about dive kick. But yeah, that's it. That was I can't forget what it's called now. Situational damage. That's what it's called.
Good work.
Cheers. FGC locations. I'll let everyone obviously plug themselves in one last time. So, Justice.
Yeah, at Justice Altuna on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Drift.
At Zero Drift, that's the number 0 Drift on Twitter. I do have a blog that's as 0-drift.com, 0 as in the word -drift.com.
Cool. And last but not least.
Oh shit.
There you go.
That's it. That's his plug. Get your shit. Awesome.
MOP LuckBoxQ. Add me up on XBL. It's just LuckBoxQ on PSN. Catch me on Twitter at
PS10.
LUCAYQB.
Wow. Future kid.
Check me on Twitter at LUCKYQBALL and search up Lucky Cubal on YouTube for some of my shit.
Cool.
Safe.
I'll put all this in the description underneath. Keep it tuned into MashOnPad YouTube channel. We'll do other podcasts later. I'll try and upload them probably bi-weekly or so. This is C4IQ signing out. Peace, guys.
See you later.
Peace.